Hi there. To celebrate 300 episodes, I've got a gift for you. Visit papernapkinwisdom.com, scroll to the bottom, and in the contact form, just write the word book, fill in the rest of the information, and you'll get 3 free ebooks. The Demand Blueprint, the Profit Blueprint to help you master cash flow, and the Paper Napkin Wisdom Gratitude Ritual. Over $25 in value, no strings attached.
Welcome to Paper Napkin Wisdom, where we share pearls of wisdom shared by some of the world's top entrepreneurs, leaders, and difference makers. Here's your host, Govindh Jayaraman.
Hi, I'm Govindh Jayaraman, and this is Paper Napkin Wisdom, episode 313. Today, we're exploring 2 deceptively simple words that can transform everything about how we lead, grow, and connect. My guest, Shivani Dhamija, is the founder of Shivani's Kitchen, a brand that started with a handful of authentic Indian spice blends and blossomed into a household name in food innovation. Her journey from a local farmer's market to major retailers is more than a business story. It's a masterclass in curiosity, humility, and resilience. And if you think that her idea sounds simple, stay tuned, because the way she lives her napkin and her business might just change how you see leadership altogether. In this conversation, we talk about what it means to really listen, not just to customers, but to intuition. We explore how learning through failure creates stronger teams, sharper strategy, and deeper confidence. And we uncover how the act of staying curious becomes the secret ingredient that keeps purpose alive in both business and in life. As you listen, notice what stands out to you. Maybe it's a line, a thought, or a feeling that reminds you of where you're being invited to grow. Let's dive into my conversation with Shivani. Shivani Dhamija, welcome to Paper Napkin Wisdom. I'm excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Govindh. I'm excited too.
Yeah, well, Shivani, you sent an interesting paper napkin to me. It says listening and learning. Why did you share that?
I was never a good listener. I'm still learning to be a good listener. So it's one of my weakness, and I want other people to learn from the mistakes I have done, and which is listening is a very important skill, and learning, there's no age to stop learning.
Great. So you said you're not a good listener.
Yes.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs would relate to not being a good listener because it makes you maybe question the rules. But where did you learn that there's a time and a place to be a good listener? Let's put it that way.
So I was not a good listener. So I understood that my dad, even my husband, keeps on reminding me that, Shivani, you need to concentrate on what we are saying. But if there's another person whom I think, even like young kids, if there might be something to learn from them, there might be some entrepreneur who has more knowledge from more than me. So I started listening. I'm still not as good, like 100%.
Yeah. So when you're talking about listening and learning, you're almost talking about them together then, I think the way I understand it. So is that how... So how did you learn that lesson? Where did that come about? Where did you realize that you needed to get better at this so that you could...
So many mistakes doing business, so many mistakes. I wish I had listened them. I still remember when I was opening a restaurant in 2000... What year are we? 25. So 2018, I opened a restaurant, and there were many people who stopped me, told me not to open in that location because it's a dead location. But I was like, no, it's Seaport Farmers Market. It's the most hype location I could ever get. But it was a dead location from Monday to Friday. Yes, it was a... So that was my first lesson, that I need to listen to other people who have more experience than me. Then there were other... Then when I opened my factory, I didn't listen again. So now I listen too much.
What does too much mean?
I've been always a risk taker. Now I take calculated risks. That's what I meant.
Okay. So how did that change things for you?
Taking a calculated risk?
Yeah. So talk about it. You said you're always a risk taker, but now you're taking more calculated risks. So how did you make that change, and what have you seen in terms of the results for you?
It's a good question. I was such a big risk taker that I would jump off the tree and I would not care if I'm getting hurt. And it always had been a case. But now I would calculate the distance, how many meters away I'm jumping. Is it the right risk or not? So I think it has also come. What are the results? Is that I'm still a risk taker, but I don't play blind.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, so what do you do to make sure? Because you're saying that you didn't do that naturally. So you have to do it more intentionally now. So
yes.
obviously, you understand that you learned the hard way, get
Yes.
that. But what does that mean for you in terms of how you're deliberate about it now?
I'll give you an example. What we are doing right now is that we are opening our own factory. So it's not a small number where we'll be working in millions of dollars. So now when previously I had taken debt of, let's say, 100,000, 200,000, it was easy. But what I understood, the lesson learned was that taking the money is easier, but paying it off is very difficult. So that was a lesson learned. But so I don't want to do that with my millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
now I'm taking calculated risk. I'll still take the risk, but I need to make sure that I'm able to pay off.
Yeah. So I think this is really important for people to hear, right? So paying it off is hard, right? It
Yeah.
requires a lot of discipline. It requires a
Yes.
lot of rigor. And, you're going to be responsible for reporting against that debt to note holders. And that reporting requirement is also something to listen and learn about. Is it, how have you gone from not listening to picking good? Because there's also, advice is cheap. There's millions of people, especially today's internet. You can go anywhere and people will give you 400 contradictory opinions about what you should be doing. So how are you discerning what's right for you and listening through all this noise?
It's you need to okay, you need to listen to everyone, but you absorb only the things which you think is right. Is that the question you asked? Am I answering it right? Like, no,
Yeah.
answer is
Well, what I'm asking is, okay, you're listening to everyone, but how do
yes.
you know what to absorb, what you think is right? How do you know the difference between what's right and what's not right?
Oh, I don't know. It's my intuition. It is a lot of intuition, a lot of experience. I talk to a lot of people. I just ask questions like you do, Govind.
Hmm. Okay. So let's talk about. You said that this didn't come naturally to you, right? This idea of listening. So now you're saying that you listen to a lot of people. You ask a lot of people for opinion. Who do you pick? And maybe that's how you're discerning. Do you pick carefully?
I'll again take an example for, let's say, taking that $1 million loan. I will listen. I'm not listening to one consultant who is so. I'm not a good background for finance. I don't have. That's not my strong point. So I listen to people who have more better financial experience, and they give me an advice about it. But I don't just go to one person. I go to four different people, and wherever the good points come from, the matching good points, I pick those up.
Yeah. So I think this is what I'm trying to get at. You have a system of finding people that you want to listen to, right? And you're looking for people who have more experience than you in specific areas like
Yes.
finance, for example,
Yeah.
and looking for patterns of
Yeah.
similar ideas, right?
Yeah.
You're not taking one person's advice and running with it, realizing that it may have been misguided and then finding somebody else. You're getting multiple sources of information, right?
Yes.
And I think that's really important. So, have you been careful about building a network over time, or is this something that you're doing more recently?
Well, I'm 11 years into the business. I have built a network. I was never careful about building a network. just talk to people and I ask questions and I built the network. I'm pretty popular on LinkedIn, and I keep myself active on LinkedIn and social media. So I think I've done a good job in building a network in the past years.
Okay. And how has your network supported you in ways that you expected, but ways that you didn't?
Pretty good, actually. Like, I feel if you go and ask questions to people, people have a lot of things to share. Like, I love to talk. So if you come and talk to me and ask me questions, I would love to share my journey, love to share what I taught. So it's similar with other people too. It's amazing that they want to share. And if you go with the problem to them, I'm pretty sure they'll help you out. They'll guide you.
All
Not
right.
give you the exact answer, but guide you.
That's great. So let's why don't we, step back a little bit, maybe tell the story of where you started. Because, let's also get clear. You're in packaged food, and that is a intensely competitive environment that as a entrepreneur for almost 35 years, I would stay far away from because of how intense it is. So your story is really remarkable because you're also coming from a fairly smaller population part of the country where packaged food in a place that you don't have natural milk runs feels even more intimidating. So tell us about where the business started.
So I came as an immigrant in 2011. I went to London, Fanshawe College. I think I did my post-graduation. It's so long now. I did my post-graduation over there, came to Halifax, and that's when I thought I started looking for a job. And I make a joke of it that as soon as I landed, I thought people will be running at me and telling me, Shivani, here's your CEO job. But nothing like that happened. And I had to struggle. I wanted to go back to India, and my parents were not happy. So anyways, I got a part-time job as a customer service, and then we started like a meal delivery service. I saw an opportunity over there that there are a lot of international students. Halifax was still a very small place and still a little booming, but a lot of international students had just started coming up. And so I started meal delivery. I knew how to drive a car. I knew how to make food. So there you go. I started delivering. And but I think the main boom came from when I started cooking classes. Somebody asked me. So every time somebody asked me, I saw an opportunity. Like somebody asked me, Shivani, can you do cooking classes? And I said, yes, why not? And I was never serious. And I think 2015, I started doing cooking classes. There was only for one person, the first cooking class. It's a journey for cooking classes. And then in the cooking class, people came and asked, do you want to sell spices? And I said, sure. And I don't say no a lot. So I started going to farmers markets. I started with like a Ziploc bag. I didn't have any idea what eventually I'm getting into. I'm getting into the retail industry, the packaged good industry, and how difficult it is. In 2018, I was approached by Seaport Farmers Market that, Shivani, can you open a spice business in Seaport Farmers Market? And I was like, sure. But what I understood was that just by selling spice blends, especially competing with India or Pakistan or South Asian countries, it would be very difficult. So I had to open a restaurant. I'm no chef. I just have a degree in marketing and communications. I'm just a home learned chef. But I went to Toronto, did my training, learned how to make naans and everything. What I learned when I was at the Seaport Market, like Saturday, Sunday, the orders kept on popping. We were not able to keep the pace. But Monday to Friday, we were dead. So I wanted to utilize the space Monday to Friday. And that's where we got into the packaging business. And spices started, but pandemic came, 2020. We had to pivot. I had to close my restaurant. And 2022 was when I started the journey of making paneer, which is an Indian cheese. And that took off. The product was good. I had done good branding for the Shivani's Kitchen. And now, fast forward 2025, we do paneer in Costco, in some places in Ontario, a lot of retail industry. And now we started with sauce basis. That's what the journey is.
That's amazing. There's a theme, though, of you sort of listening to so going back to listening, learning, you're listening to your market, and you didn't go all in all the time. You were packaging spices in Ziploc bags. It's not like you went out there and spent a bajillion dollars creating the perfect packaging. You tried the product out. You made sure that the product was the right product for the right market at every step before you went all in.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, there's you were pretty systematic about it.
You're the first person who's telling me I'm systematic. I don't consider myself very organized. I wish I was even more organized. But yes, I don't take, like, even for paneer, I still remember those bags. So if you see right now, go out in the cheese industry, you'll see beautiful packaging. They are beautifully vacuum sealed and nice. In 2022, if you would have seen my packaging, I hated that packaging. It was like hanging bag, vacuum sealed, very bad packaging. And I put my staple sticker on it, just wanted to try it out. But now, yes, we have improved.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? You found a way to get it done, validate the market, and you were using the space, right? The space that you were already paying for that didn't have high utility in a way that gave you utility for a market that you hadn't captured. So I love it. It's the immigrant ingenuity of taking everything you have and using it. So you can smile and wave and say that you're not systematic, but I think you're being humble because you
Thank
really
you.
did. I think you really did bring some idea of, okay, we're gonna test this, we're gonna validate it, we're gonna say yes, we're gonna put it out there,
Yeah.
and then see what happens.
Yeah.
And you were listening to feedback so that you could learn in the direction of the opportunity. So you closed the restaurant, you started making paneer, and describe what I know what paneer is. I grew up with the hanging bags in my mother's kitchen. But for people who don't understand what paneer is a very unique Indian food, and it's a bit of a delicacy when made really well. So tell everybody what paneer is for people who don't know.
Oh, it's an Indian cheese. Textures like tofu, doesn't taste like tofu. A lot of protein and fat in it. Absorbs the flavor of everything and doesn't melt. So it's a cheese which doesn't melt. So a lot of qualities of it, and you can add it to your pasta instead of chicken, and you're gonna fall in love with it. You can add it in your stir fry instead of shrimps, and you're gonna fall in love with it because it absorbs the flavor of every spice, every seasoning, and makes the dish amazing.
Yeah, so it's an odd combination of a dense texture, but very porous because it absorbs the flavor around it beautifully.
Yeah.
And it is a key component in many of our favorite dishes that we have as a family. And anybody who eats Indian food would love it. But one of the things that's hard about paneer, and seriously about all Indian food, but paneer particularly, is it's hard to make at home, right? It's very time consuming to make at home, and it requires various steps. So, finding paneer available in the market is not something that's commonplace for most.
No. So I'll tell you both the stories. So first one, it is easy to make paneer at home. You just need milk, you need lemon juice or vinegar. The problem is,
but it's not.
No, the problem is you don't get the texture right.
Right. Yeah. The density. It's like
the density. Yeah. So like you'll have to keep it hung, and then it will still scramble. It will become a scrambled paneer. And we have faced that issue a lot. So yes, that's why not 90% of Indians, they don't try to make paneer at home. It's time consuming. Number two, I have a story in 2000. So Halifax was a very, very small place. I'm not sure, Govind, if you have been here, but
One of
when
my
I
favorite
came,
cities on the planet, let alone in Canada. It's a
okay.
beautiful city.
So 2012, when I came, there was no paneer, there was no ghee, there was no Indian stuff found over here. So I still remember I used to pack paneer from Toronto in suitcases and bring to Halifax. And my suitcases used to be filled because I love paneer. But I'm happy that I solved that problem. It took few years, but I solved that problem in Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what I also think is interesting is that you sort of slipped in this fact that you had this marketing background, right? That's where your training was at Fanshawe in London, and then you brought that. So this is not a small thing. I've sold product to Costco. Getting into Costco is not easy. Staying in Costco is
The
not
worst.
easy. It's so hard. And their commitment to food safety and quality and batch control, and like it's off the charts. It's the regs are here, Costco's demands are there. They're a great customer though. Once
Yes.
you go through the hoops, they're an amazing customer. Love them as a customer. However, getting in is really hard. So, how important was it to get all those pieces right on the small scale before even contemplating sending a pallet to Costco?
Oh my God. It's a difficult. See, now I don't remember my struggles. But I know main thing was that I had started talking to Costco in 2022. So talking to them and then preparing myself for Costco for 2 years, getting it's a hard thing, especially their certifications. It's like a trouble, and we actually we had a very small facility. It was only 1,000 square feet space, and so we actually got certified once for Costco for our spice blends, and we passed all the hurdles, did the 98% score, and then the manager changed. So that, and we have spent, I think it was almost $50,000-$60,000 to just get that certified. So
And you're
now,
talking about the food safety audit, right? The food
yes,
safety audit is such an extraordinary process for anybody. I mean,
yeah,
every raw material has to be indexed and batched. Every batch then has to be a compilation that could reverse engineer right to the ingredients where they
yes,
came from. It is mind-blowingly thorough.
yes. It is. It is. So yeah, no, we hired a consultant. We went through all that process, and then the manager who was supposed to buy the product, he changed, and we lost that contract in 2023, or was it? Yeah, but in 2024, Costco emailed us back, and I didn't give up, and Costco emailed us back. But now this time, I didn't want to get certified again and go through those hurdles again. So we looked for a facility who could do that for us. And so we used co-packers.
It's amazing. So one of the things that's incredible about your journey is your. It sounds like you don't hear the word no really easily.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a problem or if it's a good part.
Well, it certainly served you. Has that always been part of your DNA, or is that
Yeah, I
something that
think
you
so.
learned?
I need to improve myself, Govind.
No, I don't. I don't think you need to change a thing. It seems to be working out for you.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Um, how, how hard is it for you now? Because it was hard for you to say no or hear no and stop doing something. But now, like, let's go to where you are now, where you're making paneer, um, you're shipping to Costco, you've got. Do you still have your spice blends?
No.
No, so no spice blends, but I think you've got sauces. You said, right?
Yeah, we just started sauce bases this year and we sell that to Walmart.
Okay, so again, small retailer people haven't heard of before, Walmart, right? No big deal. So you've got these sauce bases in Walmart, no big deal. You got paneer in Costco, again, no big deal. These big gigantic retailers. This takes a lot of focus. So now you're the one who has to say no. Like every great yes is defended by 1,000 no's. How are you staying focused? What are you doing differently to stay on point?
A lot of practice.
Mm-hmm. What does that look like?
I still have to work hard for it, but yes, a lot of practice on saying no. But I'm greedy. I think I'm greedy. I want more. I want more.
Yeah. So you're not good at saying no then?
I'm not good at saying no. Yeah, I'm not good at saying no, and I still need a lot of practice. And I keep on reminding myself.
No, but you're not in spices anymore. So you made a deliberate move away from spices and into these other things. So clearly you're saying no. It's you're being discerning about where your products are and where you're building your brand. And look, if you're just listening to this and you haven't seen Shivani's stuff online, check the show notes. You've got a fun online presence where you even go into stores where your stuff is in the back corner of a store and say, "Hey, Walmart shopper over here, it's in the back corner. This is where you find it." You have fun with it, which is remarkable. So you've got a great online personality, but you are saying no to things. You are staying focused, and I
Yes, I
think you're
am.
not giving. I think you're being. I don't. I think you're being fun about it, but I think you're not giving yourself the credit that you deserve. Like you are pretty focused.
Um, I like to keep myself on ground, and I like to tell myself what I focus more on my mistakes, and that's why I say that I learn from my mistakes more. Yes, I do say no, but it takes me a lot of time and courage to do say no. Spice blends, we were straight away uh, competing with India and Pakistan. The packaging was so expensive for us. We learned a lot of lessons by not doing by doing the spice blends. It was a learning journey for us, and we don't repeat those mistakes with our cheese. We don't repeat that mistake with our sauce bases. I even tell that to my colleagues who are working with me. They see the amount of appreciation we get for paneer. They say that paneer is easy selling. We should keep on going. They should have seen me in 2022 where I was actually knocking doors of stores and begging them to keep my paneer. And they were saying like, oh no, it doesn't sell. You should take your product away. Your product is this. And I was literally begging them to give me space. And I kept on, I did not give up. But the similar thing happens with my sauce bases. I still knock the doors of the store managers, and I still get a lot of no's. It doesn't sell, but I don't give away. I give up easily. But I think there are some times when you should give up, and I have to learn when to give up.
Yeah, but again, it's part of the listening and learning that you're attentive to what you're getting back, and it also sounds like I have this general belief that I talk about that we are our best when we are for others what we need ourselves, right? So when we give other people what we need, that's usually a very sweet place for us to live. And you're giving people what you wanted when you were just landed in Halifax in 2012 and you couldn't get good paneer and you couldn't get good spices and you couldn't get good this and good that, but you found a way. And now you're giving that to others. That's part of the data point, right? Like staying close to the ground and hearing that data from your customer is critical. Isn't that true?
That's actually a very good point, Govind. I never thought about it. I see sometimes we are so much involved in the work that I don't see from outside what's happening. I just look at what's next, love what's next. You reminding me of this gives me another marketing idea I should be doing.
There you go.
Like
I'm gl-
2012, I was packing paneer from Toronto, bringing it to Halifax, packing spice blends from Montreal, bringing it over here, and now I do my own.
right, right. And I think that's a huge thing. You're giving people something that you would want. And I think that's a high level, that's a high bar to maintain, because you have to still always want. I think a lot of people compromise what they give to other people versus what they want for themselves. They'll give people something less than they want for themselves. It doesn't sound like you have that standard. Like you're not willing to compromise on that standard. Shivani.
No. And that's why we had to put a pause on the spice blends, because we could not cheat with packaging and make it cheaper.
Yeah. And spice blends, I mean, like you said, there is so much quality delta in spice blends that people just don't understand. I mean, you have to pay for quality, but it's very hard to find quality, because quality in a nice package doesn't mean quality of packaging doesn't necessarily mean quality of product. There's a lot of quality of packaging in spices. So let's talk a little bit more about what's next for you when you're thinking about what the next product is or what the next thing is. How do you figure that out? How do you say, oh yeah, this is something that I've heard in the market that I should go after, versus this is something that's just noise?
So it's different now, because we know who our audience is. We target the demographic, the audience which we have already been targeting, and we want to see should we be sticking with our values? What values we have? Should we be continuing in the same perspective? So if you're already doing paneer, what is the next related product to it? And can we target the same demographic? Can they trust us with the same quality which we have already done good? So what's the next product? There are a lot of products which we think. I just had a meeting in the morning, 1 hour, top brainstorming what products we should bring in. It's a very, very difficult. Like initially, it was just like me looking at what opportunity is there. Oh, there's a gap in the market. Launch this product. It was a small risk for us, but nowadays it's like hundreds and thousands of dollars to bring a new product. It was easier when it was at a small scale.
Do you have any desire to continue to try it small before you make it big? Now that you've got this, because you've got this really interesting. Again, you've got this interesting social media presence. I wonder if it gives you the opportunity to listen to that market and pitch to that market a little bit. And you could almost be like a clothing brand and do little drops every now and then. It's such a neat area that you're in, and again, near and dear to my heart, because you can't buy these things easily, and good sauce bases, especially for people who are on the go. The pace of life in North America is such that making these sauces that take 2 to 3 hours to simmer, if you're going to do them properly, is almost impossible. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, the difference was there are already so much competition in the sauce. So we just created bases, when we had a restaurant, it was funny because it's my first time in the restaurant industry, and one person coming to me saying, oh, I can handle vindaloo very spicy. Give me the spiciest. And the other person saying, oh, I cannot handle that much spicy. So everybody has a different flavor. And that's why we made these bases, so that you can add your own flavors and make your own dish, not like the regular other products available in the market. So I hope I'm successful with that.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to trying it out. This, I think I could dig into this for a little while, but our time has just about come, and this is the point in the show where we go back to John Rulin, who was a great friend of the show, and about 11 years ago, he gave us a paper napkin which said, "What you appreciate appreciates." And his idea was that things and people that you appreciate openly appreciate and value to you and to the world. So he started a movement of gratitude that really spread the world, and he's created a company around it called Giftology. He suddenly passed away a year ago, and ever since, we've been finishing our shows every episode with a little hat tip to John, and we ask our guest to appreciate somebody. So is there anybody out there that you'd like to give a shout out to or give some appreciation to?
My dad. It's a very, I never listened to him all the years he was with me, but he's no more with me, and I understood all the values he gave me. So that he was a gold medalist. His name is Vijay Dhamija. I miss you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, Shivani.
Thank you.
What a beautiful reminder today from Shivani Dhamija that leadership begins with listening and grows through learning. So often we rush to speak, fix, prove, and yet Shivani showed us that the real breakthroughs happen in the quiet moments in between. That's where curiosity lives. That's where wisdom begins. Here are a few takeaways from today's conversation. Listen with intent. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to be present enough to hear them when they arrive. Learn through doing. Every challenge is feedback, not failure. Stay humble. The more we learn, the more we see how much there is to discover. Keep gratitude close. It anchors the noise and helps you hear what really matters. Share what you know. When we teach, we learn twice. Shivani reminds us that entrepreneurship, like great food, is about balance, spice and substance, ambition and humility, success and service. If something in this episode resonated with you, take a moment now, grab a napkin and write down the one thing you're listening for, or the one thing you're ready to learn, and post it with the hashtag Paper Napkin Wisdom. You never know who might need to hear it today. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, leave a review, but most importantly, share this podcast with someone who needs to hear it. Every share helps this community grow, one napkin at a time. Until next time, remember, the leaders who listen the deepest, learn the fastest, and lead the strongest. Make it a great day.